Welcome back, family. Before we begin, I do just want to offer a trigger warning. In this episode, we do talk about depression, suicide, sex, and also death and loss. I hope you enjoy. What's up, family? Good morning. Welcome to episode 102 of Curvy Confidence. I am so excited because I know I said this last episode, but you guys really don't understand how much of an answered prayer this is. This is me getting up from depression. This is me getting up and facing anxiety. This is me giving Brittany a shot. And so I thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to do that. You're so special to me. And I thank you. Every episode we start off with a prayer. Just a disclaimer, no matter your religious persuasion, you are welcome here. You are family. This is your home. I do follow Jesus Christ. So for prayer, we do pray to Jesus. So wherever you are, unless you're driving, you can bow your head and pray along with me. Father God, I just thank you for this day. We're at episode 102, and this is a manifestation of your grace and your love towards each and every one of us. God, for whoever may listen to this podcast, I thank you for sending them. I thank you for Wondrea, who did this interview for us today. I thank you for her spirit, God, and I pray that prosperity and abundance comes to each and every family member of Curvy Confidence. God, I pray that your heart be shown today. Whatever message you want to be delivered, God, that is the message that is delivered, and I am just a vessel. And I thank you, God. Fill me up. This I pray in your son Jesus' name. Amen. Y'all ready to get started? So our second segment is called the gem of the day. And I know that I've been talking to you guys a lot about the difference between airplanes and rockets. And I recently gave a speech, a keynote address at Alfred State, where I talked a little bit about the differences between airplanes and rockets. And I do want to share that with you today. I recently watched a sermon by Pastor Mike Todd, and like as if you can't tell, I am a very proud church girl, and he made a comparison to rockets and airplanes. If you are not familiar with the ministry of Pastor Mike Todd, please run, jump, skip, leap. He is a blessing. And if you're a Christian or not a Christian, like, he breaks it down. It does, like, please run. And when he made this comparison, it really inspired me to want to just dig a little bit deeper. He talked a lot about the mechanics of a rocket and the mechanics of an airplane, and how those two transportation devices take off. And I was just really interested in how do those two very different but also similar transportation devices survive in the environments in which they were created to survive in. And so I did a little bit of research, and see, an airplane is virtually useless unless it is within a certain level of the atmosphere. It can really only survive and thrive within 2 levels of the atmosphere. Despite having a downward force or heaviness, literally pulling objects and bodies toward the center of the earth, both of these machines push against that force and literally defy gravity. They are nature defiers. So right now, wherever you are, I want you to say it with me. You, honey, are a nature defier. You are a nature defier. The troposphere is the lowest level of our atmosphere. So to just put it simply, that's where we at. We in the troposphere. You breathe in the troposphere. I'm living and I'm breathing in the troposphere. The next level of our atmosphere is the stratosphere. And that is the level, you know, you ever been on an airplane and it's going, and all of a sudden it hits this next level, but right before the airplane begins to cruise, and that is called the stratosphere. And typically what happens between, you'll always know that you've hit a new atmosphere because that's when things get a little bit shaky, right? That turbulence, that thing. Now, how many of us have ever been on an airplane and hit some heavy turbulence and our heart goes all the way down to our feet and then we have to pick it back up real quick before the pilot come on? I don't know if that's you, but that's definitely me. Turbulence takes me out, okay? Right? But typically what happens, that is because that airplane or that airplane is going in between those two levels of atmosphere. And what I found so beautiful about an airplane is that we always want to be airplanes, right? Because we see airplanes ascend and transcend, right? They're going and they're going and they're going and they're going and they're going up. But once they hit that stratosphere, once they hit that magnitude that is safe for them, they begin to cruise to their next destination. And so my question to you today for the gem of the day is, where are you cruising to? How long have you been cruising? How long have you just been going through life? How long have you just been letting life pass you by and you just going all along? And you may hit some turbulence and you go up a little bit higher, but once you reach a safe place where things are no longer rocky, you begin to cruise again until you reach your destination. Let's look at what a rocket does. A rocket starts at the troposphere, aka that's where we at. It goes through the stratosphere, and then it goes through this next layer called the mesosphere. And that is what we know to be space, right? There's other levels, right? But I'm just gonna stop there. And when the airplane is there, it begins to float, right? How many times have we gone through life and we felt like we were just floating along, not supported? With no clear direction. We didn't know what was going on. But here's the difference between an airplane and a rocket. One is cruising and one is floating. Yes, and you can take that to be whatever you want it to be. But an airplane survives on the oxygen around it, where a rocket survives on the oxygen inside of it. Come on now, sis, you gotta catch it, right? A rocket is able to understand and know that it is surviving on everything that is already on the inside. It is able to go from one level of space to the next level of space to the other level of space because of everything that it was designed to be. Because of its design, it is able to ascend higher and higher and higher and higher. Because of its design, because of who it is. What if I offered you today that because of who you are able to transcend and ascend higher and higher and higher and higher? You don't have to cruise along. You are not an airplane. You, my friend, you are a rocket. You are designed to go from level to level to level. You are designed to change space. You are designed to thrive off of everything you've been given. It is in your hand. It's just your hand to play. I think that the time for surviving as airplanes is over. It's time to live and thrive like a rocket. We're rockets, baby. We're shape shifters. When we enter into a space, that space must change. No matter what situation we may face, we are surviving and we are thriving off of everything that is inside of us. We are rockets. We're rockets. You're a rocket, baby. I can talk about this till not 2029. I really could, because I'm so fascinated I won't be surprised if we talk more about rockets and airplanes later on in the season, because it is such a powerful concept that once you get it, you get it. Yeah, don't settle for being an airplane. Are airplanes amazing? Yes. They still do a job. They still transport. They still do what they got to do. But once they get to a certain level, when they get comfortable, you cruise until your next destination. What you cruising for? There's so much more left inside of you. You're a rocket. We have today the beautiful Wondrea Gilmore. Wondrea is an actress and plus size model who is absolutely killing the game. Wondrea is one of the most giving people I have ever encountered in my life. I remember we were working on a show together and we had to model, and that was not my thing. And Wondrea patiently talked me through it. She's like, make your eyes look like this, find your angles, and really built up my confidence in that moment. And I was thinking about what to do for the self-love episode. I'm like, who do I call? I know a lot of people, but you ever been meeting somebody like, who? And I was sitting there and I was like, Wondrea. And you will see exactly why. She gets very transparent. She talks of a deep loss, and I'm very excited for you guys to listen. So check it out and let me know what you think. Hi, beautiful.
Hey, girl, hey.
I am so excited about this episode. This is one of my sister girls. She is sexy as hell. So
Stop it.
I can't wait for you guys to see her. Please tell them who you are and what you are about.
Hey, everybody. My name is Wondrea Gilmore. I'm a native from Birmingham, Alabama. I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia.
Ooh,
So I've been here like 4 or 5 years. So I would say, am I a peach now, Britt? If
you're
I've been here like
peach.
okay, well I guess I'm peach now. But I'm repping Birmingham. I am an plus size model. I am an aspiring actress and just a positive person. That's probably pretty much it.
You are an actress.
Yeah. Well, I want greater things, so
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. But yeah, plus size model. Also do a little bit of That's pretty much it though.
Good. So this is our self-love episode, and when I was thinking about all the guests to bring on, I was like, who? And I was sitting there, I was like, Wondrea, right? Because when you walk into the room, there's just this beautiful ray of light that emanates from you. And through our conversations, I know that it was a journey to get to the place of loving the skin that you're in. So I just want to start off with you telling us, what does self-love mean to you?
Self-love means to me that's pretty much a love that only you can get from yourself through yourself. It's not nothing that can happen overnight. I know for myself, it's not something that can happen overnight, but it's just a love and unconditional love for yourself, whether it be I'm trying to think of the perfect word to say. Self-love is your own definition of what you think you are, how you think you are, not how you view yourself in somebody else's eyes, but how you view yourself in your own eyes. That's what I consider self-love as.
Wow.
Your
And
own standard, your own.
yeah, you said something that was so powerful. You said unconditional love, right?
Mm.
What does that mean for you? What does unconditional love for self look like?
Unconditional. Knowing that it was a battle for myself is like, no matter what you think, even though sometimes you can have you can flashback back and you can think like, well, you don't have unconditional love for yourself, but it starts with yourself. Knowing that no matter what you do, how you do it, at the end of the day, you have to love yourself before anybody else can love you. Even if it comes to whether it be relationships and friendships or partnerships or with a partner, it all has to start with you. You have to love. Wondrea has to love Wondrea unconditionally first. Then if I can love Wondrea first, and I can learn how to love a girlfriend, learn how to love a partner, co-workers or whatever. So it starts with self.
Right. What describe a time where you looked in the mirror, a time in your life where you may have looked in the mirror and wasn't happy with what you saw, either physically or internally or whatever. What was that time in your life like?
I'm definitely gonna say internally. Maybe 2014, my dad passed away, and you can always witness people like around you losing somebody close to you, but when it happens to you and it hits home for you, it makes it a little bit different. So my dad, he was always one of those people that was always like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful! Like you can always do anything you put your mind to. Like there's only one you in the whole wide world." So when I was robbed, not robbed of my dad, because I feel like he was taken for a reason. Right now he's in heaven interceding on my behalf. But when my dad died, I struggled so bad because I felt like, well, maybe it was my fault or maybe it was my mom's fault. And it caused me to go into like a deep depression. Like I thought I was ugly. I literally lost a lot of weight. I wasn't eating. I would go like places like with my friends and I would just think I looked terrible. I felt like my neck was like getting really skinny. I just, and a lot of people don't know it, but I literally drove myself into like a fucking hellhole. I had to like seek counseling and everything. Yeah, because I just drove myself into a depression. I thought I was ugly. I would literally, what would I do? I would like look at pictures of my before self and just compare the two. And it's like, Wondrea, you're comparing yourself to a before picture to a current picture, and you literally look the same, but in your mind you're telling yourself that you don't. Like that's just how fucked up in the head I was. So that's a time where I really had to like sit back and kind of detox and get myself together and understand like it's not your fault that your dad died. Like it's okay. You have to learn how to grieve. When you learn how to grieve in the process of grieving, like learn how to like just uplift yourself in the process. So that was like a real hard time for me. And then being around other people while they're upbeat and you're down, that was like hard for me within that time frame.
Wow. When did you realize? Because depression is one of those things that it doesn't necessarily sneak up on you, and you can notice that something is off, but when it hits full force, it has hit. So when did you realize that there may be something else going on here beyond grief?
When I was like literally thinking, I'm not suicidal, but I literally was like thinking like I don't want to be on earth anymore because yeah, I'm not suicidal, but I became like having like suicidal thoughts. Like I was just like, I don't want to be here. Nobody likes me. It was just my mind playing tricks on me. And not only that, but I literally had to like get down in my word and get in my faith and know like, Wondrea, like you was put on earth for a reason. Yeah, you're put on earth for a reason, and suicide is not the way. Like that's just a spirit. You have to let it go. So that's like how bad depressed I was. Like I was like considering like suicide and everything.
Wow.
So yeah.
And what did you do to overcome that season and overcome that time? How did you get back up?
Like I said, I had seeked out counseling, and then also a lot of prayer. Like counseling is one, but definitely prayer. Like prayer, reading my word, my gospel music, being grounded in my faith and knowing like that's a spirit. Like that is a negativity is a spirit. Depression is a spirit. And also my tongue was getting me in trouble because I was speaking these things. So it's like I'm real big.
Yes. Okay. Let's hear this.
My tongue was getting me in trouble, and I was speaking these things. I was like, "Oh, you're not shit." You know what I'm saying? Like you're depressed. You're suicidal. No, the hell you're not. Get it together. Like what you speak out of your mouth. I be trying to tell people that all the time. Like what you speak out of your mouth, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to come into fruition. So once I started speaking positivity, like speaking a word over my life, and just continuing to just like uplift myself in prayer, knowing that hey, look, this is my season. Like you go through it, you get through it, pray through it, and when you come through it, you'll understand and know like it was a reason for the season. So just me knowing that I have to speak life into my situation and to myself too. So that.
Yes. So this is our self-love episode. What part of your body do you celebrate?
What do I say? Oh, I really celebrate. I celebrate.
She's like all of it, sis.
Oh, girl, all of it. No, what do I celebrate? I celebrate my. Girl, I need to celebrate my. I celebrate my stomach. I call her pudding.
Yes, pudding.
I be calling her pudding, girl. So I celebrate my stomach. Yeah.
Yes. Have you always been in a space where you were able to celebrate your belly?
Honestly, I've never. I mean, of course, even still today, I still have like insecurity issues. If I'm going to fit with a designer, sometimes I'll like be a little bit overweight. And I'll like go into like, oh Lord, you done got fat, girl, or you done got this, and it's like, no, don't do that. Don't go back. Don't do that. Uplift yourself. Tell yourself like you're good. If you done gained a little weight, try to do something a little bit different to lose whatever inches you need to lose for the designer. But I've always pretty much like, because I've always been a thick girl. I've never been little, so I don't know what it feels like to be really smaller. I don't know, Britt. I've always like had my pudding, and I've always called her pudding. I've always played with her and be like, "This pudding," like for real. I've always played with her and call, I'd be like, "This pudding." I always play with pudding.
I love that because see, I'm very insecure about my belly. So,
really,
oh girl, oh my gosh, like
but she got a booty that matched though,
yeah. So that is a blessing. But I like so you giving that advice of like just playing with it, like getting a relationship with your belly. Hope like first of all, you're a genius because I never would have thought of like I can have a relationship with. I mean, I obviously have an unhealthy one right now. If I'm like, I don't like you, right? That's very unhealthy. Versus me embracing her and being like, giving her a name and finding out, you've named something else, and I really love that name, and I've adopted that name. But we're not gonna talk about it on the.
Garfield. That's hilarious. Everybody.
Garfield, yes, they'll figure it out. So, what inspired you and inspired you to become a plus size model?
Plus size model honestly fell into my lap. I would just say it was a situation where I'd been at the right place at the right time. When I first moved to Atlanta, a girl by the name of Jackie, she was hosting a fashion show, and one of my friends from Birmingham tagged me in a flyer, and she was like, "You should try to audition." So I was like, I would do fashion shows and stuff at home, but nothing like on the scale of like her show. So I was like, my inbox, I was like, "Hey, I would love to audition for your show." And I auditioned, and through that show, I was able to meet like a lot of great plus size models within the Metro Atlanta area, Nedra Phillips, like just a lot of people. And through those relationships, I could honestly say it was just all about networking and being at the right place, the right time that day, and building those relationships. This really has got me where I am today, because a lot of the jobs that I book is not really solely on myself. It's just based off of word of mouth. Like somebody may be like, "Oh, I know Wondrea. I know a dark skin model. I know a curvy model. I know Wondrea. Here's her information." And that's just based off of, like, say if I know somebody that may need like a coach, I can say, "Oh, I know Brittany. Brittany can coach you." Just off the networking, just building those relationships. That's how kind of plus size modeling fell into my lap.
Yeah. What obstacles or challenges have you faced being a brown skin curvy model and a curvy model?
Honestly, just not being privy with the opportunities that like my counterparts that are possibly lighter than myself, or maybe Caucasian, Latino. The plus size industry is very, very. A lot of people don't want to say it, but it's very color driven.
Really?
I mean, I think so. And a lot of me and my close friends, we get together and we chit chat and we say, like, yeah, it's very color driven, because a lot of times when you see, granted, I love Ashley Graham. Ashley Graham is banging. She's popping. I love her to death. Like, say for instance, she was it Sports Illustrated cover that she did. She's had a lot of covers, but she's very, very, very successful. But you have like those type of plus size models, and you have like plus size models like me that are pose 18, plus in the hips, we're a little bit bigger, and you don't really see us on the cover of a magazine. You don't really see. You see a few of us, maybe like I know Erica Lauren, that's a close friend of mine. She is doing very, very well with a lot of brands, but she's like an 18. So I just feel like it's color driven. Like you don't really see a lot of people that's dark skinned up in those positions really doing those type of work. Like Nike, I have never seen.
Wow, that's real.
And Adidas. I probably could go on Puma.
So how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with facing that reality?
Literally just working your heart. For me, I guess it's like, it's all what you put into your work. just like kind of just trying to put more into your work, like, and realizing that you don't really need an Adidas to make you a standard to be the plus size model. You don't need a Nike to make you the plus size model. It doesn't take these major brands to do that for you. You can do it by yourself, and that's literally just be out here networking with photographers and put out great work. Link with independent designers who are not yet at the Christian Siriano level, who are not at the Michael Costello level. Get with them right now and collaborate. So when they do get to that level, you already have pictures in your book that, where you're working with these people. So for me, that's what, I guess it's just how I look at it. I try to do better work. And if it's for me, it's for me. If not, then all I can do is just keep doing what I do.
Yes, that's so real. So I'm going to ask you a touchy question. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Okay. If you could have the opportunity to sit with your dad for one last time, what's the one thing that you would say to him?
Oh, that is touchy. What would I say to my dad? I would definitely tell my dad, thank you. I would say thank you so much because I think like growing up, being like not like everybody else according to the standard, being like not everybody else, my parents always raised me to know like, hey, this is who you are, this is whose you are, and you have to learn to love you outside of everything else. But I would definitely tell him thank you for teaching me to always stand strong in my faith. One, no matter what the situation is, it's not as always bad as it seems. Two, always remember to, like, you never know who you're going to meet and when you're going to meet them. So always treat people with, like, respect. It don't matter if you like them, you don't like them. Period. Just treat them with respect. Even your closest enemies, like, treat them with respect. Like, you don't owe anybody nothing. When you leave this world, all you got is your reputation. Nipsey Hussle, for example, like, you can't hear anybody say anything terrible about Nip because that's what he lived by. And I would definitely just tell him thank you for just instilling that in me. Like, no matter what, whether it be enemy, friend, like, just always treat people with respect.
Yeah, that's good. In that same track, what would you tell 5-year-old Wondrea if you could?
I would tell her to not. I used to sing. I used to could really, really sing when I was like a little kid.
You
like
still can, sis.
No, but I could like Britney. I'm telling you, my mom had like videos. I could like blow.
And you still can.
And I really can. I slept on my gift. But I would tell her to like don't get discouraged. Continue to sing, and also you're gonna have hard times in life, Wondrea, but just know you are not your hard time in this season, and you can prevail. You can push through. Like on my wall upstairs, like I have something that says time, and I have time up there, like you know, the Post-it notes, and I had to say time because it's like it's all about timing. Like the same Wondrea that I was last year, I'm not that same Wondrea now. I'm sure the same Brittany that you were last year, you're not that same Brittany now. And that all comes with time. You're so crazy. It all comes with time. So when it's your time, when it's your season, it's just your time. And you have to live in the time and know that it's your time. So, yeah.
Right. So tell us what's going on with you. Where can we find you? How can we stay in touch?
You can find me on social media at Wondrea, that's WONDREA. So yeah, that's my social media handle, and on Facebook it's Wondrea Gilmore, and that's WONDREA Gilmore, like Gilmore Girls, GILMORE.
You know what I love about our last names? We have a like with it. Like I say Horton, like Horton here's the who.
That's kind of fly though, so people can like
they can
understand like this is Horton, like so they can know what you're referring to. Right now, I'm actually collaborating with a designer I'm super excited about. I really can't disclose their name, but they're in the market and they're doing some major big things, and they have chosen me to be one of their fit models. So I'm super excited about that. Working on that, and then also still just working on my acting, working with some new coaches, building more relationships like with my agents and just my peers. I'm a part of a show right now called Pretty for a Big Girl. That's a really cool show that I'm a part of. And what else am I doing? That's really it right now that I have going on. So super excited. But you guys can follow me. Text me, let me know you're from Curvy Confidence and you're following me from that platform, and I will be sure to follow you back. If I don't follow you, I'm not acting funny, but just let me know. I will definitely follow you back. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wondrea. This was so great.
It was. I had a good time. Thanks, Brenda. Thank you for using your platform to do some great things for whoever that's going to hear it, whether it be young, big, small. I feel like this is so important because a lot of times we as people are plus size women, we don't have a voice. And it's important that people coming up, they can see people like yourself, people like me, using our voice to just know, like, it's okay being plus size, it's okay being dark skinned, it's okay being thick, it's okay being who you are. We could take all the titles of plus size, all of that stuff away. We're all still a person. So, and that's super important. So I thank you for using your platform to you being Curvy Confidence to do this, because this is super important to the community and to young girls. I'm done with you. You're so crazy.
I love you, and I'm gonna let you go.
I heart you more. I will hit you up.
Alrighty, bye, boo.
Right, bye, boo.
I told y'all that was gonna be good. I told y'all it was so juicy. One thing I really I loved many things about the interview, but one thing as I'm processing it that really has stuck out to me is Wondrea talked about this being a journey. Self-love is a journey. It's a journey, right? You don't just wake up one day and say, you know, I'm good. I got this. You know, loss happens. Things happen. Life happens, and it literally uproots you. And it becomes about, how do I get back? It's a journey, one step, one day at a time. And Al-Anon, they tell us, progress over perfection. You are not asked to be perfect, but you are asked to make progress. I also really loved how Wondrea has named her belly. I am so insecure about my belly. If y'all, I don't know if y'all can, for those of you that are watching the vlog, I have this pink blanket, and a lot of it is because I'm covering my belly. I don't know what it is about my belly, but I just do not like it. And I honestly think it's a generational thing, because my mama don't like hers either, you know? And so I grew up believing that there was something wrong with having a belly. So I just don't, I'm getting, but when Wondrea said that, you know, she grabs it and she talks to it. I think it was Puddin, the name was. She grabs it and she talks to it, and developing a healthy relationship with that part of my body versus having that negative relationship with my body really stuck out to me. You can please reach out to Wondrea. She is family. She's a part of this family, and she'll have your back just like I got your back, you know. Y'all know how we end this out. We ended out with an affirmation for our week, and then 3 deep breaths in unity together. So my affirmation for this week is, my body is a temple of God. You know, as I'm recording this, I'm looking at myself, and so when I said that and I looked at myself, I looked at my belly. Give me a minute, y'all. Girl is starting to tear up. These affirmations have gotten me real teary-eyed in these first 2 episodes. I need to go talk to my therapist about this. My affirmation again. My body is a temple of God. I need to say it one more time. My body is a temple of God. 3 deep breaths together as a family. Thank you, family. This was a beautiful episode. I hope you learned something. Remember, you are not an airplane. You are a rocket. You are soaring above anything that you can ever think, feel, or imagine. This is your time. This is your season. It's right here. Open your eyes and you'll see it. And remember, find that space on your body, that place on your body that you may need to give a little bit more love to. And maybe you name it. And maybe you begin to develop a healthy relationship with that area of your body. I thank you. I love you. I'll see you next week. We have a special treat, one of my best friends. And when I tell you it's powerful, it is powerful. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Let me go to my secret place, to let my burden down.